Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
News team, assemble!
It's back and bigger than ever. It's the unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carey, Josh, Eddie, and
George.
All right, welcome back. It is another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast with Josh McQuistion, Eddie Radosevich, and I am Carey Burdock. We have a honeymooner still out there enjoying his honeymoon, which I'm happy that he's doing that. He's been filling up our Instagram pages with plenty of stories from the... Maine doesn't look like such a bad place. I don't know why people were giving him a shit for going to Maine for his honeymoon.
Who's giving him shit? First off, he's going to Portugal for his honeymoon.
Oh, that's later. This is like
next year.
This is like a small honeymoon where they also went to someone else's wedding.
Yeah, they're going to somebody's wedding this weekend.
Is it this weekend? Okay.
Yeah, it's Saturday, I believe.
But so they've been there since Monday, which that's a nice little honeymoon trip.
Sure.
Mini honeymoon.
Whatever you want to call it. But they're going on a bit. People were mad about them going to Maine.
I don't know.
Maine looks
People
awesome.
are mad about everything. People are mad about, you going to Atlanta or me going to New York or Josh going to Seattle.
Why?
Wearing his OKC gear, apparently.
The
pissing off people.
The food pics that George has been sending me look incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like a huge seafood guy, but it looks amazing. Lobster rolls and all that kind of stuff. I would go to Maine. I would go.
No, I'm very sympathetic. I mean, Aaron gave him the week after to go to Atlanta and do work, and now they're out enjoying life. So good deal. Good for them.
I don't think that they're divorced yet. I think we would have heard that by now.
There wouldn't have been nearly as many Instagram pictures and things if it had gone south. Anyway, we spent the morning over at the Coaches Luncheon, the Fostering Futures Coaching Luncheon. There was a lot of auctioning going on. We finally got to hear from Brent Venables, and look, it's a great cause, Fostering Futures. I filled out my little envelope, gave him some money.
There is no more awkward, what am I supposed to do with myself type of feel than sitting there as the auction thing goes underway. I've gone to probably, 6 or 7 of the last 8 years to the Coaches Luncheon, and it's just always kind of awkward.
There were some great packages they gave away. I mean, tours of the Switzer Center and trips to 30A. I mean, a 5-bedroom vacation home in 30A.
I know that you've done it before, but the Broken Bow thing is really cool.
I really like
I recommend everybody at least go do that once with
awesome.
their family or friends or whoever.
Do it around Christmas. That's a great, just get out of your houses, take all the pressure off the cooking and stuff like that. Just go out for Christmas. I did that one year with the family. Everybody loved it. So anyway, I want to tell you guys we got a new sponsor. I was in New York this weekend. Got a last-minute invite to go get on a plane. By the way, no ID required to get on a private jet. They were very upset at George for insinuating that I wasn't going to be able to fly private because I didn't have my real ID. George is just getting a lot of crap from it. People were mad at him. Kings of Leon was mad at him for stopping the Big 12 talk last week on the Unofficial 40. They wanted to hear our thoughts on who we thought would win the Big. I think it's just one of those things, guys, where you get away from the Big 12 and you still feel a little part of it. You still care about some of the teams and how. If it's a Saturday, Josh, and we have a bye week, there's not a Big 12 game I won't watch, I mean, I still have some interest in it.
I kind of made the turn. Oh, I don't know about you, Josh. I made the turn. I only exclusively, when we're here on Saturdays, we come back, we turn on all the SEC games. Unless there's a Big 12 game, obviously.
Sure.
I definitely, if it's one or the other, I'm going to choose a good SEC game. But, if it's
really any other scenario, like if it's the Big 12 lined up against like an ACC game, I'm going to choose the Big 12 every time. Like I'm familiar with those teams. I'm familiar with the coaches, like and a lot of it for me as a recruiting guy, it's like I know a lot more of those players. Like I'm familiar, with their stories and who they are and that kind of stuff. So I absolutely gravitate toward the Big 12. Plus, guys, week in and week out, and we said it last year, I think it's going to be true again this year. There's not a better odds of like seeing an incredible game than in the Big 12 because the margins are just so fine.
Yeah, and I mean they proved last year Arizona State was as good as just about anybody in the country. I mean, toward the end of the year they gave Texas all they wanted. But anyway, the reason I brought up the whole New York thing in the Big 12 and getting to hang out with Kings of Leon, and I didn't get to hang out with Zach Bryan. I know George was wanting at least an autograph. I never got that close. I did brush shoulders with Bruce Springsteen for just a second as he walked past me. So I got to see a really good look at the back of Bruce Springsteen's head. He's a very small man, which I think most rock stars are small. But Zach Bryan's tiny. Most of the guys in Kings of Leon are smaller. I don't know what that is.
The boss.
The boss is a very small man, but it was awesome because he did Atlantic City with Zach Bryan and Caleb Followell up on stage on the last night. But anyway, so I went to New York. It was last minute. We just gotten in a new shipment of Lucy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about Lucy. It's 100% pure nicotine. It's always tobacco-free. They also have the Lucy Breakers that are nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. And here's the deal. They sent us a nice big box. I even ordered more. We got the wintergreen, the mint, and espresso. I had the espresso the other night. It was pretty cool. But, shame to say, I've been a dipper for most of my life, and it's gotten so expensive. I mean, $10 for a can of pouches now, and it's just like enough. Like I've just decided. Lucy approached us. I was like, I want to try this, and I've done the competitors over the years, and I know Eddie's done those as well. A lot of people have, but I went all weekend just on Lucy and did not have any issues. No like withdrawals or anything like that. And now I'm just doing Lucy all the time. So I want you guys to level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Get off the tobacco. Go to lucy.co, lucy.co/SoonerScoop. Use the promo code SoonerScoop, and you'll get 20% off your very first order. Lucy's got a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co, and use the code SoonerScoop to get 20% off. And look, you're not going to find a bigger guy that's, been dipping forever than me. I hope that it's going to change my life. The spitters everywhere, all that stuff. Just, it's been great. So I can't recommend it enough. Lucy.co/SoonerScoop. Use that promo code SoonerScoop. All right, let's get back into it. We're at the coaches' luncheon this morning. We got to hear. And by the way, I want to remind you guys, Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Also, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. So, back to this morning and the coaches' luncheon, the Fostering Futures coaches' luncheon. As Brent Venables was there, Ben Arbuckle was there, Todd Bates was there. And we got to hear, plenty from Ben Arbuckle, I thought, which was good. Jay Knott was a big topic of conversation. And Josh, it's kind of the one interesting thing because when you go back to Jim Nagy taking over, that was one guy that he really targeted, and you didn't know, that seemed like a good running back room, at the time. But, I think Jim Nagy made everybody realize, like, this is a guy that could have gone in the first round of the NFL draft last year, and this is a guy that can make us better. And I feel like now that the coaches have had him in, he's gone through summer workouts, like, they understand what Jim Nagy saw in Jay Knott now, because they really talk about him like he is a different type of running back that they have in that running back room now.
I mean, guys, I don't know about for you, but to me, he's the most explosive player they have on offense. Like and I like Deion Burks, and I think he's really talented. But Jay Knott's a guy that if he has the right kind of year, he's like sneaking into late first round. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Like, he is big, he's athletic, he's got tape prior to this year that it's going to impress people. There's a lot that and again, like, I know people kind of see me like sometimes as the negative one. Like, but he's the guy that all along I was like, if they get him, this is absurd. Like, I can't believe they even have this opportunity. So for him to be part of this, I know everybody talks about John Mateer, and I get it, but to me, this is a guy that gives them a home run hitter that I don't think they've had since Joe Mixon.
It's crazy to think. It's been a long time since they've had somebody that you could just turn around and give the ball to. And, Josh, I think something that maybe got lost in the confusion, not confusion, but just kind of got lost with his arrival to Norman. I get the feeling this is a 3-down guy. Like, this isn't just they're going to use him sparingly, or they being DeMarco Murray. He better not.
Again, guys, to me, that's my greatest concern is the rotations have been weird at times. We've talked about it on post-game shows, on, you name the platform. We have talked about how it's been weird through the last few years. I don't know how you could mess this up. This feels very, let's not take him off the field unless he taps his helmet. If he taps his helmet, okay, we got guys. And the nice thing is, in that role, Xavier Robinson, Taylor Tatum, whatever, you can let those guys grow up a little more naturally rather than last year where they really got thrown into the fire before they were ready.
It's going to be so weird because if DeMarco Murray, if I'm not satisfied with his rotations this year, it will be the most mad I've been at a coach for running back rotations since Cale Gundy didn't play DeMarco Murray enough in my estimation. And he played Chris Brown too much.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, Eddie, to your point of him being a 3-down guy, this is a guy with 95 career receptions. Like, he caught 46 in 2022 as a true freshman in the Pac-12. Like, this is a guy that you can not just like, oh, he's a check down guy. Like, you can put some stuff in there with him, have him run some angle stuff out of the backfield, get him matched up on some linebackers. Hell, you can split him out wide. Like, you can do some stuff like that where, and I hate to go to the Mixon thing too often, but guys, you watch the two, there really are some similarities in their games. Like, you can see some common traits.
If you excluded quarterback, would it be fair to say, expectation-wise, Jaden Ott would be maybe the best skill position guy that they've brought in the portal?
My question, Eddie, is who's even close?
That's what I was trying to think. Like, there's and Burks, I feel like is a little bit of a transfer guy because we haven't seen a whole lot of him. But I mean, they've had a couple of other guys that came in, like a Justin Brown way back in the day. That wasn't necessarily, I guess it was the portal, but I'm just trying to think of guys that like transferred in, had a little bit of experience, and were able to kind of hit the ground running because that was something
go back
that
to like Jalen Saunders or something.
Yeah, Jalen Saunders is a good selection.
That's not a bad one.
Arbuckle talked a lot about today, and I think it probably is obvious, but it was kind of interesting hearing him talk about how quickly he's acclimated himself to the offense. And I think it's helped that Mateer knows
about his
the
intelligence
offense,
a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And look, I think that running back room, I mean, it's not a big secret. I mean, you go down that list and you talk about guys that can make plays in space. It's not on that roster. I mean, it's not Javonte Barnes. He's not a guy that just shakes people in a telephone booth. I mean, it wasn't ever Gavin Sawchuk. I know he's gone now, but Taylor Tatum, I mean, we never got to see enough of him because of the fumbles. Xavier Robinson's a guy that's a big bruiser that's going to run through tackles. He's just a different type of player, and I think it's another one of those things, guys. Like, we talk about this offense can't be any worse than it was yesterday. Like, it gives me hope that maybe this is not just a can't be worse situation, but a could be special type of offense. And that depends on the offensive line, and we'll talk about that in a sec too.
Sure.
That was brought up today, but well, I'll just go right to it. I mean, the offensive line obviously has to have their part in that and protecting Mateer. And, Mateer in the run game, I mean, we don't know how much that's going to be a factor in this offense next year. But the thing that Arbuckle did address the offensive line today, it wasn't so much, they're going to be really good. It was more like these guys are putting in a lot of work to make sure that they're good.
It was kind of like, they're not going to be as bad as they were last year.
Yeah,
which
that's
a
good way of
starting
putting it,
point.
yeah. But he talked a lot about how much time they spent in the film room together and how much time in the facility and all that stuff and just, the overall leadership. But, I mean, That's still that has to be, outside of the tight end room, the biggest question mark on this team.
It feels like offensively, like they're excited, but they're like, let's not get expectations out of whack. Like it feels like everything's like, it'll be better than last year. We're ahead of where we were last year. Well, you sure as hell better be. Like, that's kind of the thing I keep coming back to. Like,
if it's not, everybody's fired.
Yes, exactly. You're all not going to be here next year if it's not better.
You can temper the expectations for the offense as a whole, but the hype that surrounds Mateer, it like levels everything out with all. If you're trying to bring it down a little bit, all the hype for Mateer just brings it back up a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we can talk about Mateer anymore. I mean, it's been so much. I mean, it's been all so that's been talked about.
It's crazy to me. I mean, not crazy. He's obviously extremely talented, and he's done it at a different level. But I mean, it's a we'll see on everything when you're talking about the offense.
Guys, with the offensive line, and obviously, I always feel like I have to preface this. You guys are around it every day. You're there. But like some of the people I've talked to, it feels like one of the things that kind of got overlooked last year, maybe not really by us, but I think at large, was the idea that Troy Everett was kind of becoming the leader of that group, kind of like almost out of necessity, but like it was happening. And then he gets hurt and he's rehabbing and he's away from the guys. He's not part of everything in the same way he would have been. And then I hear stuff like this from Ben Arbuckle where he's like, they're all watching film together. They're doing these things as a unit rather than like I'm coming in and doing it on my own time kind of stuff. Like I've got to think having a guy like that I think is clearly the leader of that group helps the entire unit. Like that there's a guy that is the voice of that room.
Well, I don't think it was a coincidence, Josh. And I remember we were talking about it when he came back last year. But when Troy Everett got back playing center for them, things started, it was still bad, don't get me wrong, but it started to even out a little bit, and maybe that helped that you got a little bit more experience for Heath Ozaida and Logan Howland on the left side, but it seemed like things calmed down, at least from the middle out, when Troy got back in there.
It went from like a train wreck to a dumpster fire. It was like, oh, we can live with this, but, we don't want it.
It's not going to be a complete failure every time they go out there.
Yeah, no one died here. Like it's going to be okay.
It will be interesting though, because I think that and it's basically based off a lot of the stuff that came out of spring. But I kind of go into next week when they open camp thinking that Eddie Pierre-Louis is going to start at right guard. But would Fabechi not start? Like, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do.
I think Fabechi is one of those guys when you say who is the leader, like he's one of those guys. Like I get the sense like, yeah, Eddie Pierre-Louis is going to play and might play a lot, but I don't think they want to kind of take the air out of that room by just taking away Fabechi's job.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Well, guys, so if that's the vibe, and I had missed that, Eddie. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Carey, because I was kind of like, oh, I must have missed something. But would that be interesting with the idea of if you moved Fabechi to left side, which I think we all acknowledge, the guard positions are kind of up in the air, like what exactly is going to happen. But if you thought you were going to start a true freshman at left tackle, would it hurt your feelings to have a left guard that has a lot more experience and has played a lot of football?
Not at all. Not at all.
I wonder about that. That makes some sense
and
if you think about it
Josh,
on that level.
That's the chemistry of the line. That's why it's not easy for Bill Bedenbaugh to just figure it out from day one, and why it will take him several games sometimes to get. I mean, it goes back to the Ben Powers year when they were playing at TCU. And who was it that went down in that game? Was that Cody Ford that went down early in that game and Ben Powers came in? And it's like the line just immediately got really good.
Him or Tyrese Robinson?
Because Cody broke his leg against Ohio State.
Right.
And then it was the next week. You're right. Yeah. That I think that's when Ben got in, and that was kind of all she wrote for that group over the next few years.
As much as we just talked about Troy Everett, I think that we all kind of heard the same thing. Like they brought in Michala to start at center, possibly. Could you still get Troy out there if you moved one of the two that doesn't win the starting job at center to play starting guard? I don't know.
Could you have Michala and Fabechi as your starting guards?
I think that like any option that you throw out there right now, I could buy into a little bit.
And then
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Then you've also got Jacob Sexton if he's healthy. I mean,
sure.
That's at least one thing, Josh, that you can point to is like last year we didn't know what the depth was. This year we see guys that have had starts that probably aren't going to start or have played well that are seemingly going to be backups when the season starts.
Yeah, because, I mean, guys, we still have, and this was something that was brought up in board chat this week, was where exactly are Logan Howland and Heath Ozida? Like, we don't know where, because especially in Logan's case, where we know if there was one thing he really had to improve on, it was strength and power and being in with Jerry Schmidt all summer. What did that look like for him this summer, coming off that shoulder surgery? Guys, you guys absolutely correct me if I'm wrong. My impression of both of those surgeries were kind of cleanups. Not like, he had a total reconstruction kind of thing.
No, I think that's right.
Yeah, so there's a possibility that he was pretty, in a pretty good place this summer. But you've got to think even then they're making allowances for him, kind of letting it heal as well as it can.
Josh, George had wrote about this, I think it was about a month ago. It might have been right at the end of spring ball when we were rolling out some of the preview stuff going into the season. But more than anything, I mean, you just look at the numbers that George had put in his article talking about Troy Everett and Jacob Sexton combining for 8 starts and 808 snaps in 2023. This year, they will return 46 starts with 3,198 snaps among Troy Everett, Jacob Sexton, Fabechi, Heath Ozida, Logan Howland, Jake Taylor. I have to think that you're better just because they have experience playing together, if nothing else.
Last year, let's just put Michael Fasusi on the 24 roster. If he takes that spot, are we convinced it's because Michael Fasusi is so good or just because there was nothing to stand in his way? And this year, if he goes out there and he beats Logan Howland, who people can bag on him all he want, Logan Howland played some decent football toward the end of last year. Jacob Sexton, who, guys, is there I was thinking about this the other day. Is there a guy on this roster that's been more unlucky than Jacob Sexton? He was going to be the guy in 23. He was going to be the left tackle, hurts himself in that Florida State game, doesn't get to play. They've got to go get Walter Rouse. Walter Rouse does a great job, keeps him off the field even once Jacob's ready to return. And then last year, Jake gets hurt on top of shuffling positions. He was getting moved around a lot and never really got to kind of have a home. So he's had some crap breaks, and I'll even say myself, I think I've probably written him off a little too early, based on just people forget that's a guy that out of high school was seen as absolutely a potential NFL talent.
Sure.
Well, and I mean, we say all this too, but then we've all kind of heard it, the whispers about, we talk about all these guys returning, but the whispers out there are, we're paying these guys a lot of freaking money in Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje. So I don't think Bill Bedenbaugh's going to be pressured by people that are you're paying a lot of money for these people. We got to get them on the field. I think he's almost immune to that type of stuff. But at the same time, I think we all know Fasusi out of those two is a guy that, if he plays enough, if he gets his feet underneath him, he could be special even by the end of the year, if not midway through SEC play.
That's the thing. I can absolutely believe the case that he is not the starter on day one. Him not being the starter in a bowl game or toward the end of the year, I struggle with that a little bit. The stuff you hear on him, from other players, you're just he's just unbelievable. It's just once the light comes on, there's just nothing gonna. I don't know if there's anybody who can really stand in his way.
And I think in years past, at least, I don't know this year, but I mean, You got Stewart at South Carolina they're going to play, but there are going to be some games where their tackles get challenged. And if they have a starter that's been established and he can't handle that, then I think maybe that's when you see Fasusi. As long as you get his feet wet before that moment happens, that's what you really, kind of have to prepare yourself. To me, you have to prepare yourself for that.
It'll be incredible week 2. And, Josh, you think Fasusi plays against Michigan?
Without question. I don't see a scenario where he does, like, unless he's hurt, I think he'll play every game this
How many
year.
guys are they going to try to play this year? Like, because Derek Simmons, like, how does he figure in?
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, George wrote, and we've talked about it off air, but I think right now, if they had a game tomorrow, he'd probably start at right tackle.
I would say with he and Ever are the two I'm most sure of. Everything else, I'm like, let's see where this goes.
Which I guess is a
center
better
and right tackle. I feel like I know.
I guess it's a better situation than they were in last year, where it was like, I mean, whoever, like Logan or he, they have to start. Like, there's nobody else to go out there.
But what and we've kind of touched on this, but like, what I like about this group is you have some experience. You have those guys that are a little experienced. They have some time, but like, they can still get a lot better than where they've been. And then you've got Ryan Foje and Michael Fasusi that are like, if they figure it out, they are not just, cup of coffee NFL guys. They could be that next group of Creed Humphrey, Lane Johnson, Trent Williams that are 10-year NFL guys that everybody loves.
It was really funny. It was kind of a throwaway comment from Brent at the coach's luncheon on Thursday morning, but he basically just came out and said, like, practice last year, not to say that it wasn't fun, I'm paraphrasing too, but it was basically we were so bad offensively that we couldn't get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
Is basically
talking
what
about
he said.
how competitive practices were.
He's
in the
like,
spring
it wasn't very competitive.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, just looking back on it, and that matched up with everything that we had heard last year, especially coming out of camp.
I struggle because guys, like, did you feel like that was there in the messaging at that point? And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where it's like, well, it can't be worse than last year. Like, I feel like this year they're being very cautious about not setting anybody up for a big fall. Like, we're not going to get too over our skis on any of our, our belief in what we've got going here. Like, there's hope, but it's not like, hey, we're going to be fine. We're going to be in good shape. Like, I think they're waiting to see how this plays a little bit.
I think that's true, at least for the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm ready to talk about them being better than they were last year. We'll see. But I think, like, from a defensive line standpoint, the way that Todd Bates talked about his group today, the inside guys, I wish that I could sit here and say that they have somebody that can match R. Mason Thomas on the other end position. But I'm kind of excited to see at least who jumps up for that spot.
I feel like defensively,
it's going to be Taylor Wine, isn't it?
Oh, he got talked up today. I mean,
yeah, I just got a feeling.
I got to see this. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, I got to see this with Taylor Wine. Everybody talks about him like, he's just going to be incredible. I just want to see it. I mean, it's not like I go out there and practice and watch him and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just haven't seen enough. Like, I'll do that with PJ.
I want it to be PJ by the end of the year. And that's not a hit on Taylor Wine. I just think that PJ, his ceiling probably a little bit higher. I don't think that's breaking news to anybody.
And you know what? Maybe that's to push PJ.
Yeah.
Why they talk about Wine. So
they just need, PJ's kind of in that group going in and starting next week with practice. They have to bubble wrap, basically. PJ, they have to bubble wrap Gentry Williams. Like, just make it to September or August 30th. Please just make it to healthy.
That's my thing with this defense. The one thing that I am concerned about is that it's going to be a little bit of musical chairs at the corner position. If Gentry is not 100%. Like, I don't know what I mean, I think you go Jacoby Johnson and then maybe you try Cortland Guillory. And it's like, I feel like they're going to struggle to find out who their two best guys are.
You know the guy that we always just never talk about at cornerback, and he was mentioned today by Brent, Jeremiah Newcomb. That's a guy that we just do not talk a whole lot about, and he was even a guy going back into the spring that probably had a better spring than we talked about or even brought up at any point during the spring session.
And the other mystery to me is Kendall Daniels and Kendall Dolby. I don't know how that works.
Well, I would throw Reggie Powers into that group as well, just like because I think that they love all three of those guys, but they're all three a little bit different. Maybe Dolby and Reggie a little bit closer to themselves than Kendall's kind of in a element of his own.
Brent went out of his way this morning to talk about Kendall Dolby and just what he kind of like. He's the heartbeat of our defense.
He basically said he's a dog.
Yeah,
like, they just want him out there on the field. I just don't know like how they're going to go about doing that. And maybe Carey, that's where they do think about moving him over to corner if something were to happen to Gentry.
If he is 90% of what he was last year, I want Kendall Dolby on the field every single snap I can get. That dude is he's just a great football player. I get that he's not the biggest guy, he's not the fastest guy, but like that guy was constantly around the football and makes big plays. Not just like, he makes a tackle. He's around the ball creating problems. And
we're just not used to having multiple players at the same position. Then you're like, who do you start? Like they're both really good. Like we're not used to depth. Like depth is a foreign concept to us.
Well, like Obo, you got to have him on a pitch count. He can only be out there so many snaps or he's going to die.
By the way, Obo resigned, right? He got a new team. Philly, that's right.
The Eagles. He's up there with Calc and Lane.
Well, after what I saw in that raft or that barge in Cleveland, he's good to get out of there. By the way, do you think that was staged?
Oh, the Cleveland Browns thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they had multiple camera angles on that guy.
Yeah, you don't step off the side of that.
It was totally staged.
You don't step off the side of that without knowing.
Plus, it's not like the guy had like a really expensive camera rig. He was just standing there with like a phone.
I don't even understand what that was for.
Unveiling their new helmets this year or something.
Oh. Okay.
Their alternate
Which
helmet.
I actually thought were kind of cool, but just the same.
Why did the Bills ever go away from the red helmet?
Oh, those are so good.
That's one of the best, like, iconic football helmets in the history of the NFL.
My best friend had electric football, and he had like all the alternate uniforms of the NFL teams when we were kids. I would want to play with the Bills' alternate uniform.
You just wanted to play with OJ, didn't you?
I did.
He was good.
He was my hero.
He was good.
Back then.
Still?
Little piece of me still loves him. He's gone.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
You can love like pre-1980 OJ. Like from that point forward, you're okay.
I love Hurts OJ.
There's a few questionable things in there.
I love Naked Gun OJ.
Yeah, there you go.
I like a little bit of 95, and then you have to flip all the way to like 2012 or 2015, whatever he got out of jail.
Was it?
The back end of
that
OJ.
Was the other. Speaking of OJ, what about what a terrible death this week? The man who played Al Cowlings.
It's been a bad week.
And the OJ trial or whatever that was with David Schwimmer and all those.
I don't know.
It was Rudy from Malcolm Jamal Warner died.
Oh, the guy that was in the Cosby Show?
Yeah. Oh, Josh, you might have been on vacation. Missed us. He got carried out by a riptide.
Yeah, I missed it.
He got carried out by a riptide on vacation with his family, and they actually they got one. What do you call the jet ski or whatever out to them, and they only had room for one, so he let his daughter. He said, "Take my daughter, take my daughter," and then they tried to go back out there, and he was gone.
That's awful. I did not know about that.
Wow. I saw Hulk died. I saw
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy, yeah. Ozzy was the other one. I was like, oh shit, that's a big one. Guys,
Theo, not Rudy.
Epstein's lawyer died Tuesday. Kind of interesting. He's 80
only a
though.
matter of time.
He's 80 though.
Jelaine is gone. So
she's supposed to have her big day with the DOJ today.
It'll never happen. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna get killed for political commentary in this one now. Let's talk about your vision.
Those are
Eddie.
all facts.
Let's talk about your vision because it's still doing well, I hear. I mean, you noticed the Bills helmets being that good.
Yeah, I was ready to see a list, but I guess there is no list. When the Thunder rolls, LASIK strikes. Oklahoma City brought home the title. Now it's your turn to score big with LASIK. All you got to do is go to my good friends, Enjoy Vision. They are giving $20.25 per eye. You can schedule a free consultation today and seal the deal with LASIK. Just go to enjoyvision.com for the free consultation. Enjoy Vision. That is the letter N, J-O-Y, vision.com. This is where you LASIK.
All right. Also want to tell you guys about Cody Drug RX. Go to Instagram, Cody Drug RX. Check out all the wonderful content that Will Douglas has out there. You know, if you're looking for more energy, better focus, or you just want to stay ahead of the game, go check out Cody Drug RX. A lot of different supplements that they provide to help you have a healthier life, and he'll tell you about them right there on the Instagram page. Also, if you they also love working with Oklahoma med spas and clinics. So if you're in healthcare, they're ready to team up. Just give them a shout. Go to CodyDrugsRx.com, get the information, give them a call, and they will work with you. Also, NAD Plus injections from Cody Drug RX. It's quick and easy. Just head to CodyDrugRx.com, book a short telehealth visit, and your NAD Plus injection or nasal spray ships out the very next day. It is something that a lot of people in Hollywood are using to look and feel younger. They custom compound everything in their state-of-the-art sterile lab, including specialized medications for men's health, weight loss, anti-aging, and more. So go check out our good friends at Cody Drug RX. I want to remind you guys, 100% of profits from Cody Drug supplement sales this month will benefit the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. So a great job by Will and the guys over at Cody Drug RX for making that happen. CodyDrugRx.com. All right. Outside, I mean, we're talking about the defense, and everything that went on this morning. Ben Arbuckle, had quite a few things to say. One of the things I thought was interesting that he brought up this morning when he was asked about guys that have been on campus and newcomers, the first newcomer he mentioned was Isaiah Satania, which was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little, I don't know, not pointed question, but just in terms of, because he was asked basically about transfer portal guys, and then he was asked about guys that are returning.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Satania is one of those guys that when he came in, and I think that George and I have talked about this on the YouTube show here coming out of spring, I think he was a little bit of a overlooked just in terms of you didn't really know because he's been to so many different places. Keontae Lewis kind of in the same vein. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a guy that certainly figures into this wide receiver group. Talking about Isaiah Satania, though, I was pretty pumped because I think I'm currently buying all the stock that I can. I like Zion Kearney. I'm going to have to get my heart broken again before I back off of that.
Well, and Josh, what
6'2",
what Ben was saying was like, he's so big, he's so fast, he's so explosive. Like, he should be out there dominating. He said he tells him this all the time. He's trying to build up his confidence, I think, as much as anything. But they want to use him as a weapon, and they feel like he's ready to become that guy this year.
Well, and he is, like, because, Carey, I think that's something that I would say even I have to remind myself a little bit of it. Like, I think because he's a speed guy, he's got some track background, I think people kind of pigeonhole him as like, oh, he's a slot guy. He's Deion Burks or whatever. I'm like, no, he's a bigger guy than that. There's a little more to him than that. And I would say especially he's longer than that. He's kind of an interesting type of athlete. So guys, somebody asked me this, and I got some interesting response on board chat, and they were going into this year and remembering where you were at the same point last year. Do you feel the wide receiver room's in a better spot or a lesser spot than last year? I feel like I don't have as much confidence in it. Like, I can see what people are buying into, but like I thought, okay, Nick Anderson, the Deion Burks kid from Purdue is going to be a good player. Like, there was a lot more I felt like I knew. This group, I see a lot of upside, but I don't feel like I know as much.
I mean, is it bad if I say the most I know about like what we've seen on field is from a true freshman in Elijah Thomas? I mean, I think that we know that Deion Burks is going to be pretty damn good. He's just going to need to stay healthy, stay on the field. I don't know outside of that, though. Like, I guess is somebody like I'm just trying to think of somebody. I want to just pick on somebody. I don't know. Like, is Jacob, what's his name? Now I'm trying to think of the kid's last name.
Jordan.
He going to be a guy that like figures into the rotation? Is that long-term? Is that a good thing? Like, my initial reaction would be probably not. They have to get some of these guys to come back and be players for them. And I think Zion Kearney is one of those guys that you have to circle.
Absolutely. And Kearney, again, you talk about body types. Like that dude looks like you want him to look. That's a SEC body, and he's been that way since he was a high school kid. I remember going to watch him play, and over at Hightower, and he is a big athletic guy. He's got ability to separate. Like he feels like a lesser Elijah Thomas. I think you would say like a little, like he's bigger than Elijah, but I don't think the size makes up for Elijah's ability to separate and how smooth he is as an athlete. But that same kind of guy where you're like, this should work. This should be a good player if he's getting good delivery from the quarterback, if all that stuff is working, it feels like a scenario where that should have success. And again, like I think Giovanni Gibson's a kid. I still look at his tape from Pine Bluff and you're like, I don't care who he's playing. That dude's got some tools that are just not normal. So there's stuff I can buy into, but there's also guys like, how much are they going to have to rely on Jermichael Carter? I don't know how much I'm ready to buy into that. Ivan Carrion, I know there was a lot of excitement about him last year, but I admit some of it's like poisoning from like high school. I wasn't always his biggest fan. I wonder, like, can you lean on those guys if you had to? Because guys, certainly you're not going to have just steal a down to dunk. We're not going to have a Plagues of Egypt year at wide receiver like we had, like we saw you have last year. But there's going to be injuries. That stuff's going to happen. How can they fill in that depth when a guy like Deion Burks has to miss a week, or if Elijah Thomas isn't full go against Ole Miss or whatever it may be?
By the way, we have some breaking news. Have you guys seen this so far? President Donald Trump has signed a college sports executive order that prohibits third-party pay-for-play payments to college athletes. Titled, President Donald J. Trump Saves College Sports.
Oh, thank you, 4547. Thank you. Hashtag thank you.
And then Pete Nakos, his quote tweet, potentially monumental college sports news. The NCAA has lobbied for federal legislation, and President Donald Trump has now delivered an executive order. So, I don't know what this means for guys like Felix Ojo. I mean, I don't know what this means for, some of these big numbers that are out there right now. If it's like retroactive, it's like, does it go back and say if you're getting, like for John Mateer, like if you're going back and say if you're not earning this money, you don't get it? Like those are details that we'll have to find out. But man,
good, bad, indifferent.
Does this stop people from doing it though?
No.
Or are we back to the back men? I
think the idea that this is going to just stop because you make a bunch of rules, like, that hasn't worked for the last 100 years of college football.
Look, so this is a good time to get into it. And we'll do a whole show on the rest of the luncheon this morning. So more details to come on that. But I think we should talk a little bit about what's going on in the NIL space specifically, because the House settlement's being challenged, and then the collective thing I think is the really big elephant in the room going right now, where the NIL Go/CSC College Sports Commission came out and gave guidance that collectives are not going to be treated like other businesses, and then they can't just directly pay players with money that they have. And then they came back and said, well, we will still let the collectives be involved, but we don't know. They're still negotiating. We don't know exactly what that's going to entail. It's been put out there like maybe they could limit each deal to like $5,000. But I don't know how that makes sense if you have really high-profile athletes like Livy Dunn that are clearly making more than $5,000 through things like Viore and things like that.
You think she's making more than $5,000?
I think, yes. I do,
maybe a little
bit.
bit?
Believe that. Maybe just a little. But, yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be some things that happen. But I think what everyone wants, from the university level, the fan level, maybe not the player level, but everybody wants the pay-for-play thing to die. Like, they don't want people to just be able to give millions of dollars to people just so they'll come play football somewhere without having any basis in fact, and it's just an arbitrary number that they throw out. It's just a bidding war. And, whether it would appear that this would stop that. And I think once you have an executive order, everybody stops and takes notice and says, okay, pay-for-play is dead. How do we kill it? To me, that's the next question, Eddie. Is that with Is that with
I
harsh
have no
penalties?
idea. I'm the wrong
I know,
person to
but
ask.
I'm saying we're just having a conversation here. Like, is that with severe penalties? Is that with making players ineligible if you find out that they got money under the table? Is that punishing an entire team? Is it taking away, college football playoff appearances? Like, they have to do something to make the punishment severe if they're going to stick to this.
I would agree. Like, taking away wins from a team or whatever the hell they've done in the past. Like, who cares?
Vacating wins.
Yeah, vacating wins. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, I mean, and it always sucks that future teams get punished for what past teams have done. But you take away the ability to get into the playoffs, schools will start policing this stuff pretty fast. Like because, sure, players getting some money helps them recruit. It does not help like the millions and millions of dollars in TV revenue that they get that pays the bills. Like like you're going to have to do stuff like that. Guys, and to me,
cutting into your conference share. How about that? I mean, make that a penalty.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I mean,
you lose 20% of your conference share if you are caught cheating.
I know instantly. Like, I've already, looking at some of the response to this Trump, executive order, there is instantly the question of what power does he have to do this? I don't think he has any power to do this, like to my understanding. But if it gives the conferences a leg to stand up, because to me that's where this gets done, is the conferences aligning with their schools and aligning with each other of this is how we're going to choose to operate in a manner very similar to how the NFL operates with players. I think that's the only way this gets done. You can't have everybody doing things independently. That will never, ever work. And you can't have somebody far away from it who is going to make this order, and I don't want to get into the politics of it at all, but then is not going to have any ability for follow through with it. Like there's no ability for Donald Trump to make sure that these rules are being abided by. Like that's not within his purview or in his best interest to follow up on. Like that's not what he's doing. So to me, this has to be something where some people can get their foot in the door and say, okay, this is what we've got to change to make this viable for everybody.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're conditioned that every time something comes out, we're just like, yeah, we'll see. But, I mean, this is an executive order. This isn't something – I mean, maybe it could end up in the Supreme Court, something like that. But I think everything's subject to that if you have a good enough argument. But, I mean, this seems to be something that has substance to it. When the president has an executive order saying pay for play is no longer allowed – I think it's got to make people take notice. This isn't just a court case win. So we'll see. But, the thing about it is, and we've been back and forth on all this stuff. And the board, I'm in a big thread right now about, what this all means in terms of Learfield, Sooner Sports Properties taking over the collective, what it means to have a front office in this day and age. And I'll say this and I'll keep saying it. Regardless, I know people want to be cynical and say, well, OU is, they're burying their heads in the sand, that this pay-for-play is never going to end, and, they're cutting themselves off at the legs. I think OU is in a great position for where this eventually ends up. They've got a front office that is full of evaluators that allows them to go out there and have a consensus on whether a player is someone that can help them win football games or not, regardless of what their price is. And that gives them a leg up from, I don't know if you guys saw the Mike Locksley stuff from Maryland. I know Eddie and I were talking about it yesterday.
I told you yesterday, they should have fired him immediately.
I mean, to sit around for a head coach right now in this day and age, to sit around and blame NIL for, losses on a football field, you're so far behind the times already. Like, people complain about where OU's mistakes have been. OU has at least put themselves in a position to take advantage when the dust settles in this thing. And that's it. Look, I think the Learfield thing, I think Learfield is going to do a better job at going out there and getting marketing deals for NIL than anyone else has done or could do. There's some really good. There's a lot of questions I have about everything. It's just like that SCORE Act thing. You see all these states now coming out and saying this is bad for athletes, and it is one-sided towards the NCAA. But now you have people coming out and saying it. Like, I'm just of the opinion, like, I want to know the details on everything, on how it benefits a university and how it benefits the athletes. Because I do think it's just like with the revenue share. It's $20.5 million revenue share. That's nowhere close to half of what did OU pull in last year? What was that list? Like 140 million or something?
I forget what it was. It ended up being what, top 10?
Yeah,
top 13,
top 7.
like that?
Seventh in the country, maybe, or maybe that was the Forbes report thing. But yeah, I mean, like 20, like that's less than 10% or a little over 10%, like 15% almost of your annual revenue. So, like, is that fair? Is that real? Like, it's one of those things, like, universities are going to protect what they have. It's just in their nature. They're going to do it. The athletes have to they have to have a starting place, and they have it now. Now, whether they get collective bargaining, I was talking about this morning, this $20.5 million, Josh, when you look at, I think I saw the Green Bay Packers made like $432 million last year.
It was something astronomical.
So it's like you compare like what colleges are making, each college, even in the SEC, versus what an NFL team makes. These colleges are going to be saying, why are we leaving so much money on the table? And I think it eventually leads to maybe a 64-team college football division. It won't be 32, but you could make it so they can go out and they can do the deals with, the league-wide deals with a drink sponsorship or, a financial institution. And they can also do their own TV contracts, and they can negotiate with Apple Plus and Amazon and pit them against ESPN, and they can have a Thursday night football. They can have a Sunday night football. All these things that the NFL are doing, colleges are going to realize eventually, like, we're leaving a lot of money on the table just fighting over what conference we're in.
$432.6 million was the revenue share.
That's insane.
Carey, it reminds me of something. When you and I want to say it was our first contract we went into together when we were working. I think it was still OU fans at that point. I don't know if we'd made the change to Sooner Scoop. And I remember you coming to me and you're like, we need to do this. And I think I was like 23. And you were like, we need to do this as a group. We need to do this together. Whatever we negotiate, it needs to be a group. And I was like, oh, he's crazy. I'm going to do my own thing. And I did my own thing. And I came out happier with it, but like it wasn't until years later when I realized how much money was being made like on our work that I was like, Jesus, I left a lot of money on the table. Like I just didn't know. And they separated me because I was young and naive and was just like, any money's great money. And I took it and like paid for it. So again, like I look at this and you look at, the best sports leagues in the world, they operate as a singular unit.
Right.
They don't do it like nobody does this. And so
they have a single voice.
College football has got to figure this out, and college athletics in general has got to figure this out. And I don't know if it's a singular, like really giving somebody power, whether it's, Petiti, whether it, like whoever it may be, Sankey, whatever. But someone's going to have to be the guy. The buck stops here. He's going to have to make some calls and do what's best for everybody. And like it's going to – early on, there's probably going to be some teams like we could make more money. But over the long haul, show them this is going to make you more money. You've just got to let it happen. You've got to be patient with it.
Well, and I sat down this morning and like made a list of who like the 64 teams would be. And it gets to that point where it's like, I'm sorry, UCF, we already have 3 Florida schools. We got Florida, Florida State, Miami. Like, we just can't take any more. And sorry, service academies, you're great. you take care of our country, you protect our country, but we can't have your football in our league. Like, that's just not, it's not possible. Like, so if you go, it's really straight.
Just Big Ten. What would
it's 68 total Power 4 teams. So you got to kill 4 of them.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
And like, is it Stanford? Is that Vanderbilt? Like, do you keep Houston?
Don't give Stanford the option. They might take it. They might just be like, you know what, we're good.
But it's like,
Carey, that's the interesting thing. Like how many schools would just be like, you know what, we don't want to do this.
Yeah.
We don't want to compete on that level.
That's very possible. Like, I'm looking at my list right now. Like, I think you have to include Syracuse because it's the only Northeast, leave out Rutgers. Even though they played the first college football game, you have to leave out Rutgers.
I think Rutgers has to stay. It'd be a very,
they're the state school of New York.
Do you think in all heart of hearts, like, would the people of Kentucky, of the Commonwealth, say, if this is just football, go for it? We'll just worry about basketball.
What they're going to be told is this can help make your basketball program better.
Sure.
If we're
more
making
money,
$200, if we're making $300 million a year from football, it's only going to help basketball. Like, everybody's going to want to be in this 64
portion in than anybody would.
So is there a single Division I team that wouldn't, or a Power 4 team that wouldn't want to sign up for that?
But you have to leave some of them out.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
and
you're going to have to go across the room. Anybody just want to get out now?
You have to bring in some teams from outside the Power 4, like Boise State.
Yeah.
I think you have to bring them in. Who else did I have here? Like,
too good for too long.
Like Washington State, you going to bring them in without Washington, or Oregon State without Oregon?
Maybe they're
not Power 4.
I don't know. Maybe you would have to go to
Memphis would be in that conversation.
I mean, they just tried to get into the Big 12 for $200 million.
Memphis is at the bottom of the conversation. And I don't think they get in, to be honest with you. It's a fun exercise. Like, just go make 64 teams and ask yourself who deserves to be in. Because it gets real easy at the top. You have Oklahoma, of course, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Notre Dame, USC. I think Nebraska's definitely in there. Penn State, Texas, Oregon. Like, it gets easy, but you get to like the 30s and you're like, wow, I don't know how many teams really deserve to be in this. Like, you don't really need 64 because let's face it, Boston College is not winning a national championship anytime soon.
Ever. I'm not an ever guy, but ever. Boston College is not. Wake Forest, nope, not happening.
You got to let Notre
Wake
Dame
Forest
in,
is out.
right?
Wake Forest is out. They're out of my 64.
Notre Dame,
that's a Power 4.
Notre Dame has to be in.
Yeah, they're absolutely in. But even like,
to me,
Virginia,
the ACC
Virginia Tech
would be the one I would pick apart.
Yeah.
But Pitt's got too much history. They got to be in there.
Yeah.
Stanford might be one of those teams on the outside looking in.
I'm Stanford and Cal and Vandy and Northwestern.
Stanford and Cal, if you went up to them and were like, do you guys care? They'd probably be like, no, you know what? We're good.
We're fine. Just let us have our academics.
And would there be, like you said, Carey, would there be any of these teams at the bottom of a Power 4, like a Stanford, we'll use Stanford as an example, that would say, you know what, we're not willing to invest this money into college football. Let's jump down a level and be dominant at that level.
See, that's the part I wonder about, Eddie. Like, would some schools say, you know what, we're never, like the Wake Forest, the Boston colleges, we're never going to compete with Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma. Like, we're never going to live that life. So let's go down, and we're going to be on it's kind of like going, like, for our Oklahoma high school football fans, there's Jinx, there's Bixby, there's Owasso, and then there's kind of like, you're not really going to have a chance to compete in 6A. It's very unlikely. But in 5A, the numbers are balanced. Everybody's basically the same size school. You're all working against each other. Like, that feels like something some of a certain type would be interested in.
Carey was showing me his list. It's kind of daunting thinking about who you want to kick out. It's kind of fun, though, too.
I just don't think it matters when you get to like the 60s, especially like the mid 50s. None of those teams are winning national championships. I'm sorry. I put Tennessee. I forgot about Tennessee, so they're way down on the list, but they'd be toward the top.
Mm-hmm. Would West Virginia be in
Yes.
for you guys?
Yes. Because it's a single – you have to include West Virginia because it's an entire geographic region that's only supported by –
like
because Marshall's not going to be in there.
School?
Yes.
I think technically they would be.
You have to think West Coast, East Coast, South, Midwest, Southwest, Northeast, even Pacific Northwest. Like you have to be represented. And Boise State does kind of that weird Montana-y, section of the earth.
I think, do you put North Dakota State in just to kind of have something in that area of the world?
Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
They need to catch up on facilities.
So.
They can get in and will not invite Minnesota. Sorry, PJ Fleck.
I had people wanting Arizona out this morning.
I don't know if you guys saw the numbers that were out there. That I can't remember what book put it out, but it was like the hottest seats in college football. The guy out at the Brennan guy out at Arizona was like #1 to not make it through the season. It's only his second year. It's crazy.
Oh, you mean Coach Hot Seat?
Yeah.
They were a train wreck last year, though. They were terrible.
Well, Jed Fish took them to new heights. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just surprised.
And he still had his quarterback. He had the stars. You were like, okay, they're going to fall back, but they're going to win some games 49-42, and that just didn't happen. They were just bad.
Just a bad team.
Is it? Let me ask you this too. Just a national question. Do you feel like
God? They were. I did not realize they were this bad.
Do you feel like all the warning signs are there that Brian Hartline will just not be a good offensive coordinator at Ohio State?
Yes. The reticence to hire him for years and years, and then just like, okay, we got you could make the hire now because they'll be like, well, coming off the national championship, they lost all this. You can understand how the offense wasn't great this year, but you're like, but what is that?
I mean, you go from Chip Kelly to Brian Hartline. I mean, there's no comparison there. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a Seth Luttrell disaster, but I mean, Seth Luttrell's resume was very similar to Brian Hartline.
Point.
No, I mean, you've got an offensive coordinator as a coach.
I have no idea. Is it really his show, or is Ryan Day going to be running things?
Yeah, is he the puppet master?
I was listening to an interview he did at Big Ten Media Days, and they kind of asked him about like being a CEO versus being a play caller. And he was like, I think today you just have to be a CEO. I think you have to go that way with it. And so I mean, I definitely got the impression that it was going to be Hartline's deal. But obviously, I mean, it's just like last year with Zach Alley. Obviously, Brent Venables was sitting in on those meetings and had a lot of input. I mean, even if it was Alley's defense.
Does Hartline have to be that bright? Throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith, please.
Well, that's the thing with the Seth Luttrell comparison. He's recruited so damn well at receiver. Even if they lost their top 7 receivers, they'd still be pretty good at the position because they've just got animals everywhere.
Does have a new quarterback though.
Yeah. I don't.
Similarities might kind of be.
Will Howard,
similar.
he did the damn thing. Even when he didn't, he was doing it. It's crazy.
Even when he screwed up, he came back and
it's wild.
Made up for it.
Still kind of crazy.
Way.
Like somebody mentioned it the other day, talking about it might have been Brent at SEC Media Day. Like mentioned Ohio State. He's like, and the future national champions. It's not that I had forgotten. It's just like I still can't believe that happened.
All right, Josh, I know you've been on vacation, but you kept your ear to the ground a little bit, and I know some big news is coming. From an OU target, and I'm not talking about Jake Cruel. It sounds like the Sooners are in the mix here with, is it Davian Groce?
Davian Groce.
What can you tell us the latest there?
I know our guy Sam Speegs had a story, I believe it was yesterday. Sam Spiegelman, I guess I should say, for
Speegs is his nickname.
Familiar with it? Yeah, everybody calls him Speegs. Anyway, where he talked about kind of hearing kind of stuff similar to frankly, to what we've been hearing for a couple of weeks now. Like, this is close. This is going to happen. Like, I feel like it's one of those situations where he keeps getting to the finish line, and then, like something will get in his head, or he'll have a conversation with the coaching staff, and it just I think it's getting to the point where it's a guy that just is having trouble telling guys, I'm not coming there. And with that, you get a lot of volatility. I mean, stuff can happen that you don't expect. And I'm certainly not telling any, I know people always try to parse through what I say and take it as, oh, Josh is hinting at that OU slipping here. I don't think so. I still think this is going to be Oklahoma. I'm just saying the longer this drags out, the more chance you get of, oh, I didn't see that coming. That's out of left field. Like that sort of stuff just happens. It just does. And so we'll have to watch it. I still think it's OU and Baylor. I think Baylor is the primary concern for OU right now. But I think OU knows how badly they need another receiver in this class after signing 2 last year with Elijah Thomas and Manny Choice, only having Daniel Odom this year. There's some urgency here. They need to – and guys, for me, it feels like they need to make a statement. Like, you can't just keep losing in the Dallas area to SMU and Baylor and not lose face. I don't even know what to call it. Like, I make it sound like a mob war, but like that's kind of what it feels like. You've got to go out there and say, hey, we're going to spend money too. We're going to do the stuff we've got to do. We're ready. Like, come on. And so I think that is absolutely a consideration here. And I just think OU will find a way to push this over the line.
And then Jay Cruel down to 3, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not surprisingly, really, because like we talked about it when he released that top 3 of Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Texas. It didn't like Ole Miss was the one you're like, really? Like, I didn't see that coming. If you'd have told me Ole Miss, Texas, and Florida, I said, okay, yep, those are the 3 that I would bet on. That makes sense to me. But it definitely feels like of the 3, OU and Texas are kind of the true contenders here. I think those are the 2 that are really fighting. I continue to get the impression that Jake Cruel would like to see OU play some good ball, get off to a good start. Again, and he knows they can play defense. It's not that. It's just like, is the whole thing working? Is Brent Venables going to be back? Because, guys, I'm going to tell you, he has heard from more than one staff. And I want to say this. I've not talked to Jake about this, but I've talked to enough players to know he is being told those guys aren't going to be there. You're going to commit to a staff that's not going to be there. And OU's having to fight that. And I think if they weren't fighting that, I think Jake might already be committed. But that's just the world they're living in. They're having to fight that battle a little bit. But, again, he loves Miguel Chavis. You can't find a more Miguel Chavis, Brent Venables kind of kid than Jake Cruel. Like, he fits them perfectly. So I still like where OU is, but I think there is a proof of concept question here. And if Oklahoma can answer that, I still really like where they are.
All right. Anything else on the lookout to be or on the be watching out for in recruiting coming up?
Josh, it's just crazy to think that. We are literally like a week and a half away from high school team started. When does Texas start?
Texas will start practice in about. I think there are some late next week.
That's
I think.
Crazy.
I mean, like it's like because again, and for those that don't know, there's a rule in Texas. You can do spring ball, or you can kind of. Bank those and use those practices to get started earlier in the fall. You can have more practice in the fall. So some teams elect to go that way with it. So it's not really like a standard. It's kind of up to each school's discretion of how they want to do. I think that counts for 4A, 5A, and 6A. I think those are the 3 levels that have that choice. But anyway, the thing that I think is interesting, guys, I was talking to somebody, honestly, waiting for my flight yesterday to come back to Houston, and I was having a conversation, and it was very much a kind of like, what's the plan? Because obviously Oklahoma hasn't hit all their targets. They haven't landed everybody they wanted to land. They've got some scholarships they were planning to use that haven't gone to use yet. I think there's some confidence out there for Oklahoma that if they can go out and start strong, and again, their expectation is obviously they're going to go start strong. But if they can do that, I think Oklahoma thinks they can double back to some players and maybe make an impact in some recruitments that maybe have been forgotten. So that is something to keep an eye on. I don't want to go too much deeper because I think it's going to be 2 months from now before this conversation is either poignant or completely irrelevant. But there is I think they feel they can do some things that maybe people don't expect.
How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Yeah, and look, we all know how this goes. I mean, it's possible. I mean, especially with this, stuff changing with NIL. I mean, you never know exactly if all of a sudden money is no longer a factor for some guys. But if OU gets out there and does some things like they could potentially do, I mean, this class could get better. I mean, it's them winning is not going to make it worse, but them winning could make this. I mean, I would think, Josh, it could make this class better before it's all said and done.
Absolutely, because I mean, there's a couple of guys, and and we can point at several that I don't even think OU lost on NIL that much. I maybe a little, but I think in most years it wouldn't be enough for a guy not to pick Oklahoma. I think in some cases, guys are concerned about the future of this staff, and if they can see, hey, these guys are here, they're playing good ball, and I keep saying it, but not only is it that, it's Oklahoma's program's in trouble in the SEC. Look how bad they were in their only year. Again, if that was year 5, it wouldn't have the same weight to it to these guys because there would be other years to say, no, they're really good. They just had a bad year. But now these schools are pushing, well, this is who they are. I don't think any of us actually believe that. I'm going to bet the coaches don't believe that. But it's something they can get into these kids' heads and shake them up a little bit. And I think in a few cases it worked.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, we are 7 days away from the start of training camp.
Week from today.
It is all going to come fast and furious. Oh, my God, it's almost here. I was telling somebody, we had the lunch, I was talking to Toby and Plank and TJ Perry up there today, and they were asking about kind of, ready for this. And I was like, once August gets here, it's all a blur.
Truly.
We've been planning out the schedule, just all the shows we're going to do. It's just insane the amount of content that we're going to be producing this year. And in between that, getting the new studio set up is going to be an adventure. But no, we're really looking forward to it. I mean, not a better time to subscribe to Sooner Scoop right now. Just $1. Go sign up at On3. And all our coverage, we're going to be blowing it out. George's going to be back next week. Bob's already on board. But the rest of us, Josh will be out there going from high school to high school. And lots of shows, lots of content, lots of stories, lots of posting on the message board. So it's going to be incredible. Another season. I can't believe it's almost here.
I mean, you could make the argument outside of this weekend, moving forward for the rest of 2025, I think we'll have a game or something going on. Like, I know there's going to be a couple handful bye weeks, stuff like that. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm going to try to play golf on Friday and Saturday this week.
I'm going to see the parents for the last time before the life ends this weekend. So
I'm excited, though. It's it's a little bit scary in a way, just knowing what's ahead for Oklahoma football.
And
but
what's at stake?
Exactly. Like I'm genuinely excited about the start of the season and seeing what this team is, and if Brent can get this thing done, because I think that we enter year 4, and ultimately, I don't know if he can.
I want to fight you right now.
Was that too dark?
I want to fight you
right
now.
Is that too dark at the end?
No. Look, it was a...
When are we scheduling the Doom Pod? Like, that's what I need to know. When are we having our moment?
I think George would want to be a part of it. Maybe next week.
Yeah. Like, all the things that could go wrong. I mean, and we know there are a lot. There are a lot that could go wrong. A lot has to go right. But, I mean, the madness of just the preseason, what was it, Matt Hayes predicted on the SEC Mike's podcast that OU is going to win the SEC?
I was flat out
I told you
shocked.
last week ago. I didn't when it was plus 2,500. I don't know what it is now, but when it was plus 2,500 for OU to win the SEC, I didn't think the worst thing to do in life was to put $1,000 down if you had it. Don't pay your mortgage.
It was fascinating to me to see how many people are high on Oklahoma going into the season. Right now, it's plus 6,000 to win the national championship.
So that's $60,000 if you put $1,000 on it.
Do it.
I'll stick with what is it? Does that have SEC on there right now?
I just have the national.
I don't know. Game Time will be back this season. I was told that the other day, so we'll have plenty of props for you throughout the season.
Carey, the numbers I can get you plus 4,000 at Bally. So
for SEC.
That's
to win the SEC.
At. That's what it's showing,
dude. I might do that.
What is it? Plus 4,000.
That's what I'm
seeing.
$40,000
for $1,000.
Where is that in the
it gets so many
lexicon
watches.
of OU football? I mean, SEC. Like, what's Texas and Georgia?
See, Texas is plus 280 on the same book.
Wow.
A&M's 1150. Ole Miss is 1,800. I would take OU 8 days a week over Ole Miss for the SEC this year.
Josh,
I think Ole Miss could slip.
If I was giving you, let's use Texas, would you take Texas or the field?
For the SEC?
Yes.
Field. I don't think Texas is going to win the SEC.
I mean, that's $4,000 for $100. That's not.
Yep.
I mean,
that's not a bad bet at all. That's not at all.
Nah, that's coming from Norman and Scoop HQ in Houston. So take it with a grain of salt. We're not
sure.
We're not going to pay you back your 100 if you put it down or your 1,000.
So true.
Mississippi State plus 50,000 to win the SEC.
Let's see.
I think
Mississippi State.
That's $1.
47.5.
That is $1 bet. Yeah. What's it hurt to put $1 on it?
I would imagine there's not too many places that take $1.
Yeah.
Kentucky is plus 30,000. Vandy is plus
Holy
25. Arkansas plus 14. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oklahoma has the 6th longest odds.
And that's 4,000. I mean, that's unbelievable.
According to Bally. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to stop dreaming about making $40,000 now.
Don't go to Dallas. Go to Wichita this week.
I probably should. I don't know. Did they do props in Wichita?
I think they do.
Wichita's getting all pissy about their
like
gambling,
future
apparently.
bets.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Anything else, guys, you want to hit on? I mean, we'll have the luncheon breakdown coming up as well. But, let me tell you guys, we have been putting everything. Eddie and I have been hard at work to get everything not only on YouTube, but on all podcasting platforms, Spotify, iTunes. Amazon is up now. People were asking about that. We have the recruiting report, which will be weekly. The practice report, which will be in August, it will be batshit crazy. We'll have them all the time. But here's the thing I want you guys to know. If you're an audio podcast guy, go subscribe to these shows that we're putting up individually because it will literally hand deliver them to you. I explained this to Eddie the other day, Josh, and he was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't care. I just go to my podcast page. But Eddie, do it. You and everybody else need to do it because the practice reports, like I said, they'll be all over the place. You won't know exactly what day, but during the season, they'll be on Tuesdays. But during fall camp, they'll just be all over, just whenever we have availability. So go check go just look up Oklahoma Sooners recruiting report, Oklahoma Sooners practice report, Oklahoma Sooners post game, Oklahoma Sooners unofficial 40 on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Subscribe to that. And they'll be hand-delivered to you every time we release a new show. So, yes, please do that for me, and we would love to see everybody subscribing to those. So, thank you to Josh McQuistion, who is back from vacation. How was Seattle, by the way?
It was unbelievable, guys. I just love that area of the world. Like, and for people, we spend a lot of time like up in the islands, like kind of off, like just west of Seattle. Went to Canada for the first time, so that was a new experience. but like
take the ferry?
75 and we took it's called the MH Covo or something from Port Angeles over to Victoria. So we spent like a day over there. It was Lainey's birthday, and that's what she wanted to do for her birthday. So we went over there. But yeah, guys, I just love it up there, and everybody responds really well to Thunder Gear when you walk around the seafood market there. So that went really well. Definitely didn't get any profanities thrown at me and my children. So that was very mature decision by me.
You should have made a Sean Kemp Oklahoma City Thunder jersey and wore that around.
Oh God, I loved Sean Kemp.
Or Gary
I don't
Payton,
think I could do that.
Maybe that would be better.
Okay, I could do Payton. I didn't love him the same way. I loved Sean Kemp. That was like my guy.
All right, Eddie is vacationless. He's just been playing a lot of golf, so
ready to go, ready for the season.
That can be better.
Ready for next week.
Yeah, next week, looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Carey. He's Eddie. He's Josh. We'll see you next week right here, back for another unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com.